97.5, The Fanatic. We will get into handicapping the Eagles and Saints. And I come into this show today. For some reason, the spirit has overtaken me where I'm picking the Eagles to win the game. We'll get to that in a little bit, but somehow it's come over. Like the whole city is going, hey, no, I don't know about this, but I look at the line, and it's been chiseled down to 2.5. The way the Saints are playing as opposed to the Eagles, that tells me the Eagles are going to win the game. And we'll explain how they're going to win the game in a little bit. But let's start the show off. We got to get this out of our system because I'm watching the same Phillies game that you were watching last night. To me, these games don't matter. It's just trying to get to the finish line with a fifth starter. It's not a big deal. It's not going to carry over into the playoffs. But I'm looking at the social media. They should never put him out there ever again. They should release him. I ask these people, what is your option? Here's the thing. They don't have any option because no one that they've tried in that role has shown that they can handle that role. And so the little frame of reference that they had was, well, Taiwan Walker threw 3 decent innings the last time. That's more than anything anybody was giving them. So they sent him out there again. And it was a disaster. And, yes, they can't send him out anymore. And you only have to have one more start with the fifth starter. It doesn't matter. They just need to get to the end so we don't have to worry about this fifth starter conundrum anymore. But what else are you going to do? I love the people that what else are you going to do? Well, Colby Allard, Mike. Colby Allard couldn't get me out with the crap he throws.
Listen. And good morning, Mike. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Bill's here, right done producing. What's up, Bill?
Football Friday, but we're starting with a little baseball. You know I have been very critical of Dombrowski for not at least trying to upgrade the back of the rotation, and you may be correct. It may not matter.
Doesn't matter.
Assuming they finish as a 1 or 2 seed. And right now, they're still 3 games up on the Brewers. You're not going to have to worry about a fifth starter in the playoffs. But if this comes down to the fact that the Phillies somehow fall to a 3 seed, which I don't think will happen.
Well, then why are you even bringing it up?
Or this is going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Because here's what could happen. Or they finish as a 2 seed. They make it to the NLCS. And that series comes down to home field advantage, and you blew home field advantage because you failed to upgrade the fifth starter, then I'm going to have a problem. But I don't want to go crazy today. I don't want to bring anybody down. He should have upgraded the back of the rotation, and when you say there's no better option, that's why.
Are we going to really quibble about the 1 or 2 seed here? They're tied with the Dodgers right now, right?
They're tied, and I believe they still have the tiebreaker,
and 62.
Right?
They have the tiebreaker. Ohtani can't go 6 for 6 and get his 51st home run and 51st steal every game.
Is he not incredible, man?
It's one of the most unbelievable performances I've ever seen. The guy's unfettered as a hitter. But let's stick with the program here. Should the Phillies be able to outlast the Dodgers? And even if they don't, is it that big of a deal? Is Los Angeles that big of a home field advantage for the Dodgers? Seriously, people don't show up till the 3rd inning.
It's not necessarily that Dodger Stadium is that much of a home field advantage. It's that Citizens Bank Park is and should be, and you may be giving away a game at Citizens Bank Park in what would be a tough series.
It doesn't really matter if they get a home field advantage over the Dodgers. They can go in there and win a game and take home field advantage back.
I hope you're correct. But if for some reason this comes down to the fact that they blew the number 1 seed because they failed to try to upgrade the back of the rotation, I'm going to have an issue with Dombrowski. But maybe you're right. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. I have to laugh at the people that are all freaked out about, how can you send him out there again? Who are you sending out? If you don't have a solution, you can't just go overboard and say, I can't believe they gave him another. His last appearance was 3 decent innings. Did they have any frame of reference for anybody else who could have given him at least that?
But this is where you're proving a lot of these people's point and
What?
mine. You're saying there was no other option. There was no
There
other
isn't.
option because Dombrowski didn't give you one.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. That's what we're back to square. It doesn't really matter.
And I hope you're correct. But today's not the day to be negative. It's a football Friday, Mike.
Well, we have to get. I mean, that's the most current thing. I'm watching last night, and
I know. I'm trying not to
social
be
media
negative about
is
it.
broiling the Phillies and Taiwan Walker. He should be DFA'd immediately. Come on, man. He's not going to figure. He just pitched himself off the playoff roster. First of all, you're not going to have to worry about the guy. You got one start that you're not going to send him back out there. I don't know who the hell you said. They make it a bullpen game. You want to trust Colby Aller? I blanch at seeing pitchers like that Colby Aller. I can't. I literally want to heave when I see the crap that he tries to get people out with in Major League Baseball. And that's the guy they send out there.
You don't want to heave when you see Walker throw 4 home runs?
Well, I do. I do. But the answer is some Jamie Moyer wannabe? Come on, man. Don't
you blaspheme against Jamie Moyer.
They've given these guys a chance to step up. Every one of them. They've given a chance to step up. 2 guys from the minor leagues. They give him Mercado and Tyler Phillips. They give Colby Aller up the scrap heap. They give him a chance to step up. Nobody steps up. They're wear a big league uniform. Go out there and frickin' step up.
See, this is where I don't get you. Because I have been pounding on the table that Dombrowski should have upgraded the back of the rotation. You disagree, but then you're like, they have nobody else. They have nobody else. What do you want them to do? Bring in somebody.
You're under the assumption that they could bring in Tom Seaver.
No, they don't need a Tom
There's
Seaver.
nobody out there that they could have brought in.
You are saying that Taiwan Walker, Colby Allard, Michael Mercado, Tyler Phillips, all these guys are not big league pitcher options. So you bring in an option.
Okay,
it doesn't have to be a Cy Young
well,
winner.
then let's blame the farm system. Let's blame the farm system that they don't have one freaking pitcher in their whole system that can't come up and be a 5th starter and give you 5 innings.
But God forbid.
Not one.
God forbid we blame Dombrowski for that. You can't say anything about Dombrowski.
I'll blame Dombrowski for that. I'm not going to blame him for getting some scrap iron 5th starter and I have to overpay for him. That's what I'm not going to blame him for. I'll blame him for the lack of growth in the farm system. Yeah, they drafted 2 pitchers. One guy blew out his elbow. The other one can't pitch anymore. Mick Abel. They was the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah. You talking about Painter is the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, hopefully it's not going to be an issue.
All right, let's look at this. Let's look at this Eagles game. I don't know why I have such optimism that they're going to win this game. Maybe you can explain it to me. You want to handicap this game for me, Bill, quickly as we go into our first break? Listen, all the odds say, well, what are they going to do against this team that's rolling up 40 points a game with this defense that can't stop the run? And not only that, but the running back catches passes out of the backfield. They've got a burner who scores 70-yard touchdowns, and they got Chris Olave. The Eagles are giving up 6 yards per carry in the run. They're getting good outside rushing from Chase Young and Carl Henderson. 7 pickers of the 10 on the NFL Network picked the Saints. Why am I so optimistic?
I don't know why you're so optimistic, but it's interesting what the Saints have done. So they changed the offense from the Sean Payton offense for the first time in almost 20 years, and they brought in Clint Kubiak as the offensive coordinator. Now, you hear the name Clint Kubiak, you think of his father, Gary Kubiak, and that's exactly the style of offense. It's under the Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan school and coaching tree. So what they do is a ton of play action. They run play action more than anybody in the NFL to start the season. But here's what's interesting, Mike. They want you to load the box. So even though they love to run the football, they want you to load the box. Over 63% of the time, they're running either 12 personnel or 21 personnel, meaning 2 tight ends on the field or 2 running backs on the field. So they force you, load the box against us, bring it. They trust their offensive line enough that they can still run the football, and then they kill you in the play action, and that's why Derek Carr has been so successful. So you factor that into the fact that you have a defense that struggled, the Eagles, against the run, the Saints, who have run the ball better than anybody. Alvin Kamara's averaging 5.7 yards a carry. I don't know why you would be so optimistic, but the crazy thing is, so am I.
Really, I don't get it. Because Fangio's not a box loader.
No, but he's going to be – that's why I think, Mike, the reason I may be more optimistic is I think Fangio, and I know he looked bad at the end of the Falcons game, I think he's a smart enough defensive coordinator that now that there's tape out on this Clint Kubiak offense that the Saints like to run, he's got 2 games worth of it, that he's going to be able to do something to take away some of the running game, hopefully. And when he does that and you force Derek Carr to try to beat you, I think you're going to have success. Derek Carr is not an elite quarterback in this league.
All right. Slay and CJ give up 60 yards apiece last week, the receivers. Just thought I'd throw that in. But I like the Eagles. Here's how you get in. 610-632-0975. It's a Football Friday. We got a lot of good stuff happening, including Tim McManus coming on to handicap this game a little later. Mike Missanelli Show continues. 97.5, The Fanatic. It's a Football Friday. So we'll have our picks of the week. A lot of people are asking me for what's my college pick of the week. I go, dude, you got to listen to the show. What do I look like, Santa Claus? I'm going to get one out on Twitter?
Oh, you got to listen.
You got to listen to the program. We do the picks of the week at 12:30. Is that right? Right?
That's right.
12:30. Well, Tim McManus at 1 o'clock, and he'll give us the lowdown on the Eagles and Saints, which I am saying I think the Eagles win the game, and I think they win it outright.
Going money line? You feel confident enough to go money line?
I think they're going to win the game outright. I don't know why, because all the metrics say the Saints are the better team right now, but I don't know. The line chiseled down to 2.5. I'm going, the Saints have been so impressive. They got a home game. The line started at the usual 3-point home line, and it went down. I'm going, that's the only thing I pay attention to. You come in, I come in today, you give me the X and the O's. Here's why.
Yeah, you love the lines.
I look at the line. It's down. Why is it 2.5? As bad as the Eagles played last week and coughed up a game, and as good as the Saints are playing, why the odds makers chisel it down to 2.5? People are betting on the Eagles.
Well, here's the other thing, and this is me more doing the analysis, not just the line. We talk about how good the Saints look. You got to throw out week 1. They played the damn Panthers, Mike, so you got to throw that completely out of the equation. I have been saying all summer that the Cowboys are not going to be a very good team this year. That's who they dominated in week 2. So when you look at the two opponents that the Saints have played, yeah, the Saints have a very good offensive line. The offense has performed very well. The defense has played well also. But you also got to factor in their opponents. And you look at both games. They jumped out in the first quarter to a 17-0 lead against the Panthers. They jumped out in the first quarter to a 14-3 lead against the Cowboys, which plays right into the style of game the Saints want to play, because now they can run play action, they can run the football, they don't have to guard against the run as much on defense. It's important the Eagles get out to an early lead, and I'm thinking this is going to be a big Saquon Barkley game again. You got to establish the run.
We're also going to have the coach, Nick Sirianni, on at 11:25. And I'm on the record saying, poor Nick, he's getting picked on too much. Normally I wouldn't say that.
Hell yeah.
But that's what I feel. So today, this is bizarro, Mike.
Yeah,
I came in, I go, the Eagles going to win the game, and also Sirianni's getting picked on. I just call it the way I see it.
Yeah, what's going on with you?
Nothing carries over. Like, I go, Sirianni shouldn't be the coach of this team. He should have been fired. But I roll along with it. And when I think that something's unfair, I'll say it, even though it's kind of supporting him.
It is coming from everywhere, though. I mean, nationally, locally, you got Mike Sealski writing an article yesterday.
Let me read the headline here in the Inquirer story. Nick Sirianni has been defiant since that awful Eagles loss. If he's not careful, it could cost him his job.
Is that the Sealski article?
What? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. They're all coming after him. They're smelling blood in the water, Mike.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is,
I don't think he was wrong.
He wasn't. And the crazy thing is this gets said all the time. We talk about coach speak. Our job is to put the players in the best position, right? Mm-hmm. Was Saquon Barkley not in the best position to catch that football on an easy damn play? I don't understand why all of the hate is coming at Sirianni and the decisions. The guy dropped the ball. He's wide open. Wide open. And now everybody, national, you can't trust Sirianni. Like, what are you talking about? Look, if Sirianni continues to perform badly, if this team doesn't win games, he should not be back next year. I've said that. He deserved to come back this year, and I don't think you look at the first 2 weeks and say, yep, this is why you don't bring him back. Mm-hmm. What has he done? He made a right decision.
And here it is. Here's the mantra. I'm just going to go over it. Why throw on third down when time was of the essence and incompletion would stop the clock? Why not run the ball twice and at worst pin the Falcons inside their own 10? Why not go for it on fourth down, especially when the acceptance of such risk has been a defining characteristic of the Eagles' identity for years? Why not Apanabola? That's what I say.
When Mike busts out the Italian, you know he's all worked up.
All right, let's go to the phones and start this program off the right note, because this is a Phillies call. It's fresh. Jackson in Phoenixville. What's up, Jackson?
Hey, Cozy, fine, Mikey.
What's going on, Jackson?
Dude, all right. Why don't you guys go back and look at Dombrowski's draft picks? The reason the Phillies have no pitchers is because they had Mickey Moniak. What's this other dude that's like Scott? The other guy in the minor league has been there forever.
You don't have this argument anymore. You don't have the argument. But they got Bohm starting at third base. They got Stott starting at second base. They've got Rojas through the system. The Mickey Moniak days are over.
All right, the Orioles. You want to go to the Orioles and look at?
Yeah, but the Orioles are struggling now, so don't give me the Orioles either. You can't have the Mickey Moniak argument now on September 20th, 2024.
Oh, what about Mick Abel?
All right, well, listen, he was a highly touted pitcher. Sometimes pitchers don't work, and I agree with you that they didn't develop pitchers well enough. One guy got hurt, the other guy hit a wall. But they got two premier starters out of there during the last couple of drafts.
All right, I hear you. So the other thing is the home field advantage. How did that work out for the Phillies last year? I think in baseball, it's 2-3-2, right? So if you go to L.A., it's a 7-game series. You steal a game there, and then you come home for 3.
Yeah,
it's way better in baseball, not having home field.
I don't think that when it comes to the Dodgers, the home field advantage is that significant. To be honest with you,
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
All right, man. Yeah, come on with the Mickey Moniak. I don't think Dombrowski drafted Mickey Moniak anyway. No,
or
he didn't draft him
for that matter.
Yeah, that was that Clentak era, wasn't it? Yeah, come on. They grabbed Bowman, they grabbed Stott, 2 premier starters in the big leagues from the draft in the first round.
Yeah. Well, Stott, let's hope.
He's a premier player. You see the plays he made last night defensively? That guy's a stud. And he's a better hitter than he's shown this year.
I agree with you. He has not. I thought it was going to be a 300.
He's going to win a Gold Glove.
You think he'll win a Gold Glove this year?
This year he's going to be close to winning a Gold Glove. Unless they give it to Iglesias from the Mets.
Wait, who drafted Bowman Stott? Was that Clentak as well?
Yeah, it's still the previous regime.
You know what's crazy is, do we not give Clentak enough credit? You look at a lot of the players on this team, man. Clentak signed Wheeler, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to give Clentak some credit. We give Dombrowski credit, but
No. See, Clentak, we can have the conversation about does he deserve more than what he gets. I can't have you, who spent the last month and a half ripping Dombrowski, start giving Clentak credit without Dombrowski getting anything.
I will concede to that. That is
right
correct.
Message, wrong messenger.
Yeah, I can't give Clentak credit and then rip Dombrowski.
Yeah,
I agree.
Clentak also built that 2020 bullpen that did so well. So
the one that Ricky Bottalico was in.
Yeah. He was so mad. Heath Embry, Brandon Workman thought he was going to kill me.
What happened?
When we did the wrong answers only, guess the Philly, and it was Ricky Bottalico's picture.
Oh, yeah.
Ray said, "Oh, isn't he one of the scrubs from the 2020 bullpen?" For some reason, that really bothered Ricky Bo.
Yeah. I said he was Wayne Twitchell. Maybe that bothered him.
I said he was Gabe Kapler. He hates Gabe.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he hates him.
Love it.
Love it.
All right, 610-632-0975 on Football Friday. The head coach at 11:25. News at noon. NFL picks at 12:30. Tim McManus at 1 o'clock. And we'll tell you about all the exciting Fan Fest situations that we're dealing your way. By the way, what was the major announcement?
Andre Drummond will be at Fan Fest.
Andre Drummond?
Yes, backup center for the Sixers. Why don't you? That doesn't move the needle for you? A lot of people wanted him back, Mike. A lot of people wanted Andre Drummond back. Come on, Mike. Give us some excitement here.
We got some good 76er center news today.
Yes, we did. Big contract extension for Joel Embiid. Mike's face right now. Yes, Andre Drummond was the big news. Will be coming to FanFest.
All right. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli shows back after this. But I'm not losing my edge on the Eagles. I can't believe that the people aren't buying in to the Eagles right now.
No, you can believe it.
It's a tough time for the fans to buy in coming off that loss. I get it. But I kind of like them. I don't know what it is. I kind of like them in this game.
Well, we're still only 2 weeks into the season, so you're trying to figure out how good are certain teams, and I do think the Saints have overperformed based off of the opponents that they've played. And with this new offense that they're implementing, maybe it takes a little time for defensive coordinators to pick it up.
Home game, they're only 2.5-point favorites. They've rung up 40-plus in 2 straight games.
And the Eagles have not won. They have not won in New Orleans since 2007.
Eagles are giving up 6 yards of carry on the run. They're 2 defensive backs that got beat on bomb. I don't understand this, but something's getting my attention. It's getting my attention, folks.
And potentially no A.J. and no C.J. Gardner-Johnson, maybe.
See, here's the thing. The majority of the fan base is we on a Football Friday. Nobody is optimistic right now. You got the slant against the coach. The numbers don't play out for people. They lost a game that was like they had a 0.3 percentage to lose. People are not going to buy into them. I totally understand it.
But you know what else is a factor in this game we're not talking about? Sirianni gets a lot of heat. We've been talking about that. Dennis Allen's terrible as a head coach. Coming into the season, he had a winning percentage of .343. He is a terrible head coach.
Explain it to me then. Why this game has a 2.5-point line on it?
What, you think it should be a bigger spread, you're saying?
Absolutely should be a bigger spread. The Saints should be 4+.
I'm telling you why. Dennis Allen stinks. The New Orleans Saints.
Dennis Allen stinks. They're not taking Bill's opinion on Dennis Allen. You got to look at what the Saints are doing right now.
That's what I'm saying. You're overvaluing what they did against the Carolina Panthers and what they did against what I think is a bad Dallas Cowboys team.
Well, it's not a bad Dallas Cowboys team. They romped them. The Dallas Cowboys are going to finish with a winning record.
It's going to be close.
Yeah.
It's going to be close. I have them at 9-8.
One of my point is that's what's getting my attention. And I can't really explain logically how it's going to happen. I just think it's going to happen. All right, before you get to the phones, 610-632-0975. I know you're scared. I know. You want to throw us a text. You're scared about the Eagles in this game. You don't believe in them. I get it. But I want to hear you say that. I want to hear you say why you're so down on them. Why Sirianni is taking all this heat. Why nobody believes in Sirianni in this town right now. I get it. So today, this is a little aside. I don't know how this came to me. It's fresh in my mind. I'm driving in today, and I'm at a crosswalk. And it's an elderly gentleman. Looks like he's in his 80s. And he's walking across. Now, this slow pace is not what gets me because I allow for that. Why is it that old men in their 80s with white hair have bushy eyebrows? Have you noticed it? Yeah. Like, you see an old guy and it's like a bush of white hair on their eyebrows?
It's got to come with getting older, I would assume. You're not wrong.
It does?
I don't know.
Well, here's the question, though. Why? Like, can you trim them? Or is it like what? Here's what I'll give you a threesome here. The eyebrows grow like little bushes.
The ear hair.
The ear hair.
Yes, I knew you were going there.
Comes flying out of there like it looks like a piece of white broccoli. And ready for this? The nose hair.
Yes.
You can braid it. Old men don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
What is
I guess if you're 80. What do you going to even take the time for?
Wait.
Do you really care at that point?
Dude, they have children, right? Older people?
Most of them.
You think that maybe the wife or the child could go, Pop, your hair maybe, can we do something about that? I get a little scissors. Can I trim it for you?
Well, they got to have a kid that is caring enough to do it.
Or a wife. Or somebody in their bridge club. It's like there's got to be somebody.
Yeah, I just think at that point.
Nose hair and ear hair. All right, listen. The bushy eyebrows, maybe they haven't trimmed their eyebrows ever in their life. You get your eyebrows trimmed when you get a haircut? Well, when you used to get your haircut.
I don't. I don't
No?
have. I don't have a lot of eyebrows.
Every
though.
time I get my haircut, they go, "Well, you want me to trim your eyebrows?" And they put the comb in there. And I go, "Yeah." Hey, trim them a little bit.
What, you got a unibrow?
No, I'm talking about the actual. No, I don't have a unibrow. The actual eyebrow that gets a little heavy.
Yeah, see, you still care about your appearance. These 80-year-old men are probably like, whatever. What do I give? Like, what do I care?
I get it, but when you look in the mirror and you see nose hair dripping out of there, that doesn't See,
that's
like,
something I
did you
gotta
have
be.
nose hair when you were younger? Like had to wear a business suit or something. Would you care about your nose hair?
Well, you've probably noticed I have giant nostrils,
You do have John.
so I have to constantly trim the nose hairs because if not, they're coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm
You
always
get these
concerned.
little rotary things now. You put a little
Yeah, you just do the little.
double A battery.
But I got to
in
be
there.
honest with you. When I'm 80, I'm probably not caring.
When you're 80, you're not going to care about your nose hair or ear hair?
Probably not. I mean, my wife's lucky if she gets another 10 years of me caring.
All right.
You know?
Well, I don't know. Reg, what do you think as a young man?
Oh, I'm right there with him.
You ever see Grandpop with the
Oh, I've seen this happen. Yeah,
bushy
but
eyebrows?
I understand. You just stop caring at some point. You just kind of give up on the whole, I don't feel like
I hate
it.
to feel that way if I'm 80s. I give up. Come on, why give up when you're 80? When you cared about most of your life, you cared about being trim.
Well, I mean, you're also talking to the wrong guy because until today, since we started this show, I hadn't shaved.
Shaved your beard.
So,
Or who's he look like now? Who's that MDR? But what's he?
MBD? I haven't seen
MBD.
anything from MBD. I was
MBD,
waiting for the
I'm
the
not
take
sure
on
if
this.
I'm not sure if he's here, but I walked in this morning and I saw Ray and I almost fell to the floor.
Yeah,
I mean,
sorry,
he
guys.
looks like he
Shaved
went
it off.
from 30 years old to 15.
Well, he's about 15, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty close to it.
For
I
whatever
can drive,
reason,
though, so.
the first thing that popped in my mind was when the Flyers drafted Sean Couturier when he was only like 18 years old. That was the vibe I got from Ray Dunn.
I'm
he
getting
does
carded
have a
today,
little
is
kid
what you're
Couturier
saying.
look about him. All right, let's go to Ian in West Philly. Go ahead, Ian. Calm the Philly fans.
Hey, fellas. Well, so I do want to talk Eagles, but I really do. I understand talking Eagles right now, but, man, this is Philly season right now. I do want you to get the young Ray Dunn to effort marking the tape for when Bill said, I concede, because we're going to need that drop often. No, but here we go. Look, everybody's mad about Ty Weezy. Once again, it's like we should call it Ty Weezy Tuesday or something like that. But here's the deal. And I don't keep a pulse. My pulse for the Phillies is not based off of social media. Okay, so you say on social media everybody's calling for Kobe Allard and stuff like that. Did you see him drop that 73-mile-an-hour curveball in there? And the way that the hitters were looking at it, it looked like Santa Claus dropping down the chimney on Christmas Eve.
I listen. I loathe pitchers that nibble like that. I loathe them. It's a different age now in the big leagues. There's no more room for dudes like that.
And here's the deal: the biggest issue with last night and having to put Ty Weezy out there is that he actually gained a little bit of value in the bullpen, in his last outing.
He gained more value than any of them. That's why you come back with him.
No, but I mean, you had to come out with him as the starter. Really, what should have happened was a bullpen game with him starting. But the problem is they're trying to keep the rest of the valuable bullpen people for the next 3 games in more high-leverage situations. And so they just ate that game. And, everybody, again, you're calling for solutions that are not really there. That goes to Ray's point, or goes to Bill's point, which I think is legitimate. But then it goes back to your point, Mike, that there was no deals to be made. You could have made
a deal for the Aaron Savali's of the world, but they were asking. I don't overpay for an Aaron Savali when I got 4 quality starters and I'm not going to use a 5th anyway.
People want to roll the 8 ball, Mike, but they want to control the outcome. Okay, and that's not the way life works. That's not the way baseball
exactly.
works.
You got to. The general manager has to factor all that in. Is it worth it to get a 5th starter and give up something more than I want to give up just for a couple of starts to get us to the finish line? And to me, it's not. You got 4 solid starters, if you count on Suarez, and that's more than anybody has anyway.
It is. You say 4. We're going to find out about Rangers. See, that was again, going back, and I hate that we keep reliving the deadline, but for me, I wanted to see not only them upgrade the back of the rotation, but put an insurance policy in place that if Ranger isn't ready to go, but maybe it's not going to matter. Maybe it's not going to matter.
Now you're cheating. Now you're factoring in Ranger.
Well, no, I've been saying
to include
that.
your fifth starter rationale. Now you're throwing in Ranger.
I have been saying that. I've been throwing in Ranger Suarez because I said when you don't know what you have in Ranger Suarez, it would have made sense. Maybe he did try. We know he tried to go and get. Didn't he try to get the Athletics pitcher? Who did he try to get? No, the White Sox. He tried to get Crochet.
Don't look up Crochet's numbers since the deadline.
Yeah, it hasn't been good.
You know how much Crochet would have cost you? It wasn't even. It wasn't. You look at this like, well, let's just get the player. But you don't factor in what it's going to cost you to get the player. You're going to make a bad deal to get a fifth starter.
If you're talking about prospects, I don't care.
Well, yes, you should care because the Phillies need to have their system produce prospects, so they have flexibility.
I look at this team right now.
You can't buy everybody.
The window is probably 3 more years with this squad. So do everything you got to do to win a World Series in the next 3 years.
Yeah, that's foolhardy.
And if they
didn't do anything, they've done enough to win a damn World Series. You don't think they've built this team enough to win a World Series? You don't think this team is good enough to win a World Series?
They are
right now.
They are good.
Oh,
enough.
then what are you yelling about?
Because I've said this before. I'm being greedy. I know I'm being greedy. But when I look at the lineup and I look at the pitching staff, I'm looking for where could there potentially be a weakness,
I know, but
do everything you can to try to win.
Measuring that against what the other teams are going to bring to the table. All right, last night his line: 3 1/3, 6 hits, 8 runs, all of them earned. He walked 3 and he gave up 4 home runs. That is as bad an outing that you could ever have, and that's an outing where you can't come back with him ever. Okay. I know he had a brief respite, but you can't now you have to deal with the financial ramifications. You can't expect that you can bring him back at this point.
Mike, I would have thought that 4 weeks ago, man.
I know, but you still kind of needed him to get to the finish line. Once the finish line happens it's a conclusion. You can't possibly bring him back. Nobody believes in him. The players don't even believe him. Certainly the fan base is just waiting for him to fail. And you can't have that kind of a distraction anymore when you're trying to move ahead with the organization. So they're going to have to bite the bullet and release him. And then somebody's going to pick him up for cheap, and the Phillies are going to be on the hook for that contract.
So you think they're definitely going to release him? Not going to give him one more year?
There's no way that he's coming back for another year. No way.
I hope you're right, man.
That would be foolish.
But then
it's foolish to try it. Hey, he looks like a guy that can't pitch anymore. So what are you going to do? You're going to go through, like, you're going to cross your fingers and then spring training he finds something? No, that's a conclusion that you can't take. If he moves on with somebody else and he finds a little something where he could be a fifth starter with another team, I salute to him. But you can't risk bringing him back, that negativity, bringing him back.
So they're going to need a fifth starter this offseason, aren't they?
I can find a fifth starter around the block.
But he couldn't find one at the deadline. So you can't have it both ways, Mike.
I can find one going into a season. Because I can make a trade then. I'm not going to overpay for a guy because I'm desperate to find a fifth starter, which is what you want to do. Which means you could never be a baseball general manager.
In an ideal world, and maybe it didn't exist, but in an ideal world, it would have been great for him to get somebody to help with the back of the rotation that could have also slid into the top 3 or 4 if Ranger wasn't ready. That would have been an ideal world. Maybe he tried.
And I assume that Bill has a bunch of names written down that you would have done that with.
No, but when you look
let me see your note.
Look at the Phillies trade they made for Austin Hayes. Not a single person in this city, including you, thought Austin Hayes was a name that they would go after, and then miraculously they make the trade for him. Like, just because we don't know of potential names doesn't mean Dombrowski, who has his finger on the pulse around the entire baseball league with all 29 other teams, that there wasn't somebody available.
Well, who was moved? Who were the somebodies that were moved?
Well, the Padres.
Aaron Savali?
Savali got moved.
Uh-huh. Who else are we talking about? What Cy Young candidates were moved?
See, I would have no Cy Young candidates were moved, but I would have been okay with trading some of the top prospects to get one of those guys.
You would have been, huh? If I'm the general manager, I go, my God, at least I got a couple guys in the minor leagues. They're just as good as anybody that I could pick up. Now, it turned out they weren't. But you still have to make an evaluation. The pickings are slim out there for me. Well, what's the difference?
I don't know.
That's what he's saying. Let's go to Rashid in West Philly. Rashid, you're on 97 Fanatic. Rashid.
Hey, good morning, buddy.
What's up, Rashid? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I feel good about the Eagles this week. Everybody talking a lot of stuff about us and saying that what we can't do and everything like that. I know it's been since 2007 since we won in New Orleans. It's been a long time. But I think some way or another we found a way to get out of there with a 3-point victory. It's important and crucial to our season that we do so, even without A.J. Brown. But I feel like what gives me a confidence that they will is I feel like with Jalen, his maturation as a leader is coming through. They said that after the loss that Sirianni didn't even break the team down. He did. And I felt like it's just the next step, you know what I mean? And him continue to develop as a quarterback. So I feel like we go down there, a couple of New Orleans boys on the team, go down there and show out in their home state.
Yeah, I don't buy that angle about the New Orleans boys showing out. What are you talking about, C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Has he played there?
No, I'm talking about our receiver, number 6.
Devontae. Oh, yeah, Devontae's from down there. Yeah, all right. Maybe.
You know what I mean? And I feel like it's been a long time down there since we got a win, and I think it's time for us to go get a win down there.
I agree. Yeah. There's no logic to my pick either. I just and you even brought up another thing against him. No AJ again. But
no AJ again. But then again, I still don't believe in Derek Carr. I don't believe in him. I got to see it from my eyes. I think when we stop the run and make him try to beat us, there's going to be some problems.
Yeah. All right, man. I got you, Rashid.
All right, buddy.
All right. Now let me ask you this. He buddied me twice, which means that he didn't take inventory of my first name. Is it a violation to refer in first reference to call somebody buddy or boss or chief when you know their first name?
You know, I'm guilty of it, so I can't say it's a violation.
You're guilty of what? What are you guilty?
I'll say to somebody, "Whoa, lights just went out on Ray in the studio."
It did.
You all right back there, Ray?
We had a power failure.
He's only 12. He's afraid of the dark. He's scared of the dark. There it is.
Okay, there we go.
It wasn't a power failure. I think it's on a motion sensor.
Oh, is that what it is?
And Ray's just sitting there.
Oh, okay.
I'm so stoic.
Yeah.
But see, I'm guilty of. I use my brother or my man a lot. I'll say to somebody
because you don't know the guy's name.
No, even if I know it. Hey, what's up, my brother? Like you may not notice. You walk in every morning, and I always say, "Hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah,
what's up, man?"
That's fine because that's a chummy thing. I'm talking about like if you know, like I go, "Hey, it's Rashid from West Philly. Hey, what's up, Rashid? How you doing, buddy?" You know,
you want him to say, "How you doing?"
Well, I don't know,
Mr. Missanelli.
No, he knows my name's Mike, or he doesn't know my name's Mike. If you don't know my name's Mike, why? He's listening to this show.
I don't have a problem with it.
See, now after I go, "Hey, Rashid, West Philly, what's going on? Hey, how you doing, buddy?" I go, "What's up, man?" Like that's your second reference. See what I'm saying?
So first name comes out first.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just asking the question.
So,
like, does it annoy you when somebody calls you boss?
I don't love it. I think boss is overused. I got to be honest. I think cuz is overused. I'm not a big fan of that.
No, I don't cuz anybody.
Yeah, I've never done that. You know what bothers me even more?
What's that?
When men will call women like, "Hey, sweetheart."
Well, that's an old school Italian thing.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, hon.
Yeah, hon.
Hey, how you doing, hon?
Yeah, how you doing, hon?
One of those deals. And that usually happens in a diner.
Yeah. But I want to ask you when we get back, because he brought up something else on that call.
What's that?
We didn't talk about this week. Sirianni did not address the team after the loss.
I know. Jalen did. And there were some people who got rubbed the wrong way by that. And I actually really?
kind of...
Oh, wait, let's hear about this. Well, how'd they get rubbed the wrong way?
Well, there were people, I saw it on Twitter, I saw it on social media, saying, how can the head coach not address the team after a loss? Me...
When you got an orator like Jalen Hurts who could, talk about in parables, why would you need
when you play to the standard, you win.
Yeah.
It's not that.
The main thing. That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
What I actually liked about it was all the chatter last year and this offseason is they wanted Jalen to step up and be more of a vocal leader. I kind of like the fact that the head coach empowered him to say, hey, listen, Our leader just spoke. I don't have to. I thought that was a smart move.
The coffee bean.
You know how Jalen started that?
Hello.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The
11
excitement's
o'clock
not there.
in Delaware Valley. Grungo Law, your law firm where you need help because of an injury. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. GrungoLaw.com. They bring us to the 11 o'clock hour on the heels of the 10 o'clock hour, which was brought to us by Window Nation, where you can take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Place make no down payments with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. All you got to do is call this number. It's 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Eagles and Saints preview. We're getting into it. The coach, Nick Sirianni, on the hot seat. He's coming up at 11:25. I love hearing his press conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a source. Good. It's a source of amusement and entertainment for me to listen to Nick try really hard to entertain.
It's a Sunday game, so I don't know how he's going to get us motivated.
No Friday night lights, no Monday night staying up late with his brother Jay.
Sunday 1 o'clock game. We didn't get a lot of those.
No, I like those. It's my favorite time. Sunday 1 o'clock games. And of course, the Phillies lose last night. Doesn't matter. They're going to clinch. They're going to be 1 or 2 seed. I'm not worried about this fifth starter thing. I just wanted to get to the end so it doesn't bog people down. People are losing their minds over this. My God.
It's a frustrating thing to watch, Mike. You gotta understand where the fans are coming from.
It's frustrating, but it's like it doesn't really mean anything.
I'm hoping you are correct. As long as they stay in the 1 or 2 seed. I mean, you got to admit.
I don't actually think they're going to lose the 1 or 2 seed here.
Not anymore, because they're 3-0.
Well, then what's it matter?
But you got to admit, Dombrowski was playing with fire a little bit there. It was close to say we're going to lose every 5th day.
No, it wasn't close. It's impossible to make up that kind of ground against a good team. A good team is not going to fall on their face. And meanwhile, a chaser is not going to win like 10 in a row.
Well, there's 3 up.
Like that.
They're 3 up, and they hold the tiebreaker, right?
They're fine.
So they'll finish.
I just don't want to hear it. I mean, it's like social media people losing their mind last night. Tom Walker ought to be deported. It's like, you know.
I know he's making a ton of money. I actually felt bad for him a little bit in his post-game press conference.
Was he emotional?
It's just like he looks so defeated. You know?
Listen, he's thinking. Here's what he's thinking: is this my career over? That's what he's thinking. Can I pitch anymore? Have I hit the wall where I can't pitch anymore? And do I have to now just go the rest of the life without this baseball life?
Yeah, that's why I felt a little bad for him. But look, he's got a lot of money to make himself feel better.
Did you watch the game last night, Bill?
The Phillies or the Jets?
The Jets and the Patriots.
So I got to admit something here.
Uh-oh. Is this an Aaron Rodgers compliment?
Well, no. I sat down to watch the game.
Uh-huh.
This never happens to me. Fell asleep at halftime.
What?
Woke up this morning, and then I watched the condensed version of the game in the morning, not knowing what the outcome was. But I couldn't believe I fell asleep.
So how'd you think? I'll just give you this. 27-35 for 281, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. A 118.9 rating. How'd that work out in the Bill quarterback?
He looked good last night.
Pretty good.
But you also got to realize he's playing the Patriots.
Yeah.
But
he still complied.
I'll tell you what, that Breece Hall's good, man.
Yeah. He's all right.
He's a playmaker.
54 yards last night.
Yeah, but you see how shifty he is back there?
3.4 average.
I like Breece Hall.
I like him too, but last night he didn't do anything special.
Scored a touchdown. Yeah. I got him on my fantasy team.
Last night, I don't know if you saw the pregame, but a Mikey Miss double crush was on the screen last night.
Charissa,
and who else is now joining forces now with NFL commentary?
Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No, double crush. my girl Nikki Glazer, who's been a frequent guest on my shows in the past. You didn't see that?
No. And how do you pronounce? Wait, is it Charissa or Carissa? What is it?
Carissa. Yeah.
And Nikki Glazer. I didn't know she was doing stuff with the NFL.
She's now been brought on the panel to do her roasting thing. In a football match. So right away, I reached out to her. I said, now that you're involved in football, and
what's she write back? New phone, who this?
I didn't check yet.
New phone, who this? That's what you're going to get back. No. New phone, who this?
No, I emailed her assistant, who I know very well. I used to text her directly, but I go, she's now too big for me to text her directly.
I'll tell you, though, this is a big job for her. That's a big get for her.
Yeah, so here's how she sounded last night.
It's Late Hits with Nikki Glazer.
Late Hits.
Thank you so much, Carissa. I just have to say it's so nice to finally meet the photo I show my plastic surgeon. But seriously, you're pretty intimidating. You look like the final boss at a country club. Truly, I am so thrilled to be here. Now, I I know a lot of people are probably expecting me to get up here and just like roast everyone, but this isn't a roast. Like, you guys didn't sign up for this, so I'm definitely not gonna say that Richard Sherman looks like Busta Rhymes on Ozempic. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna say that Andrew Whitworth looks like Men's Warehouse Shrek, or that Tony Gonzalez looks like who my mom thinks about during one of her long baths. I'm not gonna say any of that, because really I am so honored to be here tonight with all of these NFL legends and Ryan Fitzpatrick, or as your teammates called you, Sacked Galifianakis.
He does look like Zach Galifianakis. Richard Sherman does look like Ozempic Busta Rhymes.
That was my favorite one.
But Andrew Whitworth, Men's Warehouse Shrek is a classic.
She is good, man. She is very good.
She's in the football scheme now. So now we can talk football with her.
That's a great idea by Prime to bring her on.
I thought you were saying that's a great idea by me.
No, you had her on before she was big, so of course.
Yeah.
You noticed her talent early. But that's a great job by Prime. But I would love to have her on.
She's hot. She's hot now. I mean, the Tom Brady thing made her larger than life, which made me reluctant to even reach out.
The Tom Brady roasted.
Yeah, it's like now it's like Stephen A. We used to have him on. Now he's going to make $25 million. Like, I feel embarrassed
to ask him.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They should be paying us to come on this show, Mike.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the text board. Let's first off start with an old man hair text.
Yeah, Jeremiah in Austin. Mike is 100% correct on the nose, ear, eyebrow grooming. Whenever I see this, I immediately think, isn't someone in their life telling them this? Come on, guys and families, do better. Show some love for Pops.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. There's got to be somebody around, somebody that the man trusts. Pop, I got a little scissors. I can trim your hair. He's looking a little unsightly.
I don't know, man. At that age, you really care? I'd just be happy to be alive at 80.
I'm just saying that the people around them should remind them that maybe it's a good idea to do it. All right, we have a negative Eagles text. What we got?
Yeah, Norm from Mayfair. The Eagles line is ridiculous. They lose this game by 21. They can't stop Northeast High School right now.
Yeah, see, this is a thing that people make the mistake of when you disrespect the odds makers. I always tell people, you don't have to know anything about football. You don't have to do, like Bill likes to dig in with the X and O. I look at the people who do that, dig into the X, they've already done the work for you. It's like buying a term paper.
Yeah, reading the line really helped you last night with Walker on the mound.
Well, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but when I read the line, it's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah, your college football line reading has been spot on.
Okay, well, this is a pro line reading. Well, on what planet did you think the Eagles would only be a 2.5-point dog coming into this game? When you have what happened last week to both teams.
I think the line is pretty accurate. First of all,
2.5, Bill.
If Saquon catches that ball, the Eagles win last week.
But he didn't catch the ball, and they let a team go down the field 70 yards, which illustrated how bad their defense is against a team that scored 40+. Why is the line 2.5? Come on, Bill.
Because the Saints are overperforming. The Saints have overperformed. They're going to come back down to earth.
Disrespect the people in Vegas if you dare. I don't. And that is why I am endorsing an Eagle dub.
What I'm saying is if you look at Vegas, they're looking at the Saints and saying, this is a team that's overperformed. They're not going to score 41 points against the Eagles. The Eagles are in a must-win almost because of coming off that tough loss. How do they respond to adversity, which they couldn't do last year? It's a big game for the Eagles, and I think it's kind of a letdown game for the Saints, who have been playing higher than they should be the last 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. You might be right. But I think the Eagles are going to win this game. And I'm not trying to be a homer by any stretch of the imagination. 610-632-0975. Nick Sirianni is coming up at 11:25. Don't go anywhere. Some reviews on social media for Nikki Glazer.
They got to be positive, right?
Jack McGuire. Amazon just brought on Nikki Glazer on the post-game show, and it was just very awkward.
Isn't that kind of her comedy, though? It's supposed to be a little awkward towards the people
because of no
around.
audience. Watching a comedian tell jokes with little or no feedback from the audience is just so awkward. Props to her for what she did, but definitely wasn't for me. Huh.
I thought it was great.
Too many people need to be told to laugh.
She's a T Swift level skank. Somebody wrote. What?
Whoa!
Come on, man.
People are brutal.
Is this Jay Glazer's wife? No, it's not.
They don't even spell it the same way.
No, they don't. But speaking of wives, I believe your wife has entered the YouTube chat.
She is, and the YouTube chatters are having a lot of fun going at me with her in the chat.
Okay, so you see this, and you go, prettiest girl in the chat.
Yeah, well, she comes in.
Which is a little gratuitous of a compliment. You know, I don't know what you're after with that comment, but all right, a little gratuitous. But the people now think you're flirting with somebody else.
Yeah, I said, prettiest girl in the chat, and then someone said, I'm telling your wife. So I said, that is my wife.
Is that brownie points, Ray? Prettiest girl in the chat?
Oh, big time. Yeah, he's trying his best here.
Just like I do with Sirianni.
Is she mad at you or something?
I try to keep it objective. I try to be objective. I will always tell the audience the truth.
The ladies out there listening, oh, that's so sweet. And the guys are going, yeah, he must have done something.
Now, wait a second.
What?
I'm not going to let us walk past him comparing him talking about Nick Sirianni to his wife.
Yeah.
So she just said, my wife just said, excuse me, Mikey Miss. So she's mad. Now, in Mike's defense, he's never met my wife. He'll meet her at FanFest.
Listen, I apparently have met your wife.
Oh, years and years ago.
We took a picture together.
That's correct. She was doing a promotional thing for the Fanatic, and you were hosting an event somewhere.
Well, there you go. So I have met her. Now, I didn't realize years later she would be your wife.
Yeah, she's really stepped up since then.
But I'm just examining this from a guy's standpoint. She's on the chat, and you go, prettiest girl in the chat. I'm thinking that you had to throw a gratuitous compliment in there because you did something wrong. Not that she wouldn't be the prettiest girl on the chat.
No,
maybe she is. I'm not making that judgment. I'm just saying your comment is a little gratuitous.
Yeah, I don't need to do that with her. I'm being. She's never mad at me. What's there to be mad at, Ray? What's there to be mad at? You get to spend every day with
it. Guys look at it different. I bet you guys react. Oh, come on, man. But the way ladies go, oh my God, I'd love for my man to do that to me. You know?
I told my wife last night. She's 6 months pregnant. I got to tell you, I have never seen a 6 month pregnant woman this hot. I mean, really, she is.
Oh my God,
beautiful.
He's going on and on now.
Gorgeous.
He knows she's listening.
Yes, and I told her last night, and I'll say it publicly on the air.
Does she have a problem with the nostrils?
She is gorgeous. Look, dude, she's with me for my personality. I'm not naive to this.
She's with
me for my personality.
Did she ever mention nostrils?
So she said on here,
sorry, man.
when we were talking about the old men,
yeah,
she wrote in the chat she would trim it for me. So yeah, she bought me the nose hair trimmer, man. She doesn't want me to have the nose hairs, yeah. But anyway, enough about my wife. Thanks for listening, babe.
Could you fit a golf ball in there?
My nostrils, dude, my nostrils are massive, Mike.
Oh, what?
You know what's crazy is as big as my.
You show up in T-Box 1 with 2 golf balls,
dude. As big as my schnozzle is. I have a horrible sense of smell. Like, you would think that I could smell anything. Yeah. I got a horrible sense of smell with this shoe. I think I broke it too many times, like playing football and stuff. But yeah, these are big nostrils. Definitely. Yeah. You got to embrace it, though.
You don't have to.
It makes you unique.
You can get it fixed.
It makes
you don't have to embrace it.
The crazy thing is, I broke my nose. I did actually go to get my broken nose fixed, and the guy's like, we can make your nostrils smaller. I'm like, nah.
Wait a minute. You had an offer to make your nostrils smaller, and you passed on it?
Well, when you break your nose and they got to do surgery anyway, they could just throw in the cosmetic part.
And
I'm
you
like,
said no?
Yeah, I want to live. This is who I am. This is how I was made, and I'm embracing it.
All right. I guess that's noble.
But nothing against those who choose to improve themselves.
Nostrils like that, and the doctor says, you want to less than him? What would you say?
I'm actually kind of with him on this one.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. I think so. That would become more of a story. Oh, wow, look what he did
If
with
I
his
had a
nostrils.
big nose and somebody was offering to fix it and make it smaller, I would go, of course. Of course I would. Well, why not? Like, why wouldn't I? But I'm an experimental guy. Like, I had snoring surgery once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not that I was a snorer. I was a mild snorer, but I knew it was coming because it's kind of hereditary. My father was a big snorer. So I was doing this ad for the guy.
Oh, and then he did the surgery.
Part of the ad was, when you get the surgery, you talk about it. And I go, well, what do I have to lose? The theory was that you take the uvula out, and it wouldn't trap your breathing thing, and you wouldn't snore anymore. Well, I was like 1/1,000,000% of the people had the reaction to this surgery.
That you had?
Yeah, which is a nosebleed. Terrible nosebleed that you can't stop. So this is when I was the sports anchor on WB17 at the time. I was part of the news team, which you don't know. Ray doesn't know. He wasn't born. But in 1999 to 2001,
I think I remember
I was the sports anchor on the WB17 News at 10. So we're in a commercial. The next is me. I'm on the set. And this sports is next. Sports is next. Mike Missanelli said, sports is next. So I'm waiting at the commercial. All of a sudden, my nose starts dripping blood.
Oh, my God.
And it's dripping on the console. And I can't stop it. And it's like Panic City, and I'm panicking. The more I'm panicking, the blood pressure's going. And more blood's coming out. So I couldn't do the sports. It came back, and they took me off the set. They wiped off the set. There's no sports.
I've had a similar experience calling a game.
Is it really?
Nosebleed. Yeah, I get bad nosebleeds. Just that's a hereditary thing. I don't know. When the seasons change, the air gets different. But I had it happen while I was calling a game, and I'm just sitting there trying to talk with a little tissue in the nose. It sounded awful, but game's going.
So I nursed this thing for a couple of weeks, thinking it wouldn't happen again, and it happened when I was trying to sleep, and the blood's going down my throat. I had to get an emergency cauterization, where they stick that iron in your nerve and they fry your vessel, your blood vessels, and tie off the flow.
Please tell me you don't snore at least anymore. Do you still snore?
No, I don't. I don't snore. I don't think.
Well, you went through all of this to not snore.
I don't know if it's foolproof, the whole surgery. But I had never experienced anything like the cauterization. It was like they were putting a jackhammer on your brain. Like they stick it up there and your brain starts vibrating.
Yeah, I wouldn't sign up for that.
I know some people have probably had that. 610-632-975. Coming
Football
up.
Friday.
It is Football Friday here. 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, we're going to keep it here because Sirianni's about to come on. We don't know when he's going to come on. It could come on. All right, he's going to interfere with All right.
I don't like tardiness.
What do you think? Any high school football or Mount Union references today?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I'm just interested in the heat that's on him right now. I'm wondering if the reporters will ask him about how this is making him feel. Because the heat is on him.
The heat is on him. Well, it's going to be interesting to see because I've told you that I still feel that these players like and respect him. And you've said this, and you're right. The negativity permeates through that locker room, even from the fan base. They hear it. They know what's going on. Do the players step up and rally behind their coach this weekend and show up in a big way in New Orleans?
No.
But you think they win the game?
No, I think they win the game. I don't think they're going to rally around their coach. I think they're going to win the game. But I don't think it's because of that.
But if they get smoked, if they go down to New Orleans and get smoked, I will start to question how this locker room feels about their coach.
I lauded him for his honesty. I thought it was a really good press conference when he tried to explain what he did. Again, is the outcome always what you want? No. But I was completely convinced that kicking that field goal there was the right decision. All right, here he comes.
That same way as
Yeah. Yeah, this is they've been explosive. They got good playmakers. Derek's playing really good. And again, a lot of respect for this offense and what they've done. And these last 2 weeks. And so it's definitely going to be a challenge.
What happened to CJ?
Yeah, he tweaked something yesterday. I won't get into the specifics, obviously, but, we'll see how today goes.
Is there still a chance AJ plays on Sunday?
Yeah, well, again, we got some time. We'll see how today goes. We'll see how the rest of the, we got today. We got a little bit of tomorrow before, and obviously Sunday before we can have to make that decision. And I know he's working. I know both guys are working their butts off to try to get back.
If CJ does play, he's an emotional player. Obviously, this is, I imagine, an emotional situation for him going back there. What's the message to him?
Yeah, I love, my message always has been to him is I love his emotion. I love his energy, and always use that. He's got such an awesome personality that always use that personality to bring people together. And so, be yourself, have fun out there, show your emotion. I would be crazy to tell him not to show his emotion because I show my emotion. But show your emotion, do everything within the rules of the game, and because people feed off that. And so, again, love his energy and just his personality.
How have the players responded this week?
Yeah, I thought we've had a good week of practice. Obviously, we're not done yet. We got a big one today to go out there and have a good practice today. We had a good meetings this morning. We'll have a good walkthrough. But they've been great. Just ready to get back at it and go. And because we know that at the end of the day, all we can control is our habits, and our habits are what's going to be produce our results. So our habits have to be the exact same that they've been, and any process that we have that hasn't been what we think is up to the standard, that's got to even raise too. So you guys have been great. We've had a good week of work.
Was there any curiosity to see how the team would respond to this early adversity? And if so, what did you learn about that?
Yeah, it wasn't like jumping on to getting a loss to figure it out, but no, I think the curiosity was, I think that happens in camp, right? You have good days in camp, you have bad days in camp, and so it was kind of like answered in that portion of it. So I think, again, we treat so many things, we treat everything like, it's game. When we go out and practice, it's like game-like, right? And so those things are answered in the preseason, but naturally, right, the consequences of losing a regular season game. So it may be a little bit, but I think, again, like I said, guys have really responded well. We're 1-1, and we're ready to go out there and play a good football team and get back out there on the field on Sunday. But we gotta, have a good practice today.
What are you seeing from CJ? I'm sorry, not from CJ, from Cooper DeJean as far as his readiness to step in if he's needed?
Yeah, he continues to impress as he's out there. As far as starting with his special teams abilities, he made a really good play in special. You guys weren't out there still, but made a really good play in special teams yesterday in practice that was showed in front of the team today. He's really had some good reps with the defense. He gets reps with the defense, and he also gets reps on scout team. And so he's just, I think he's been stringing together practice after practice after practice, and our confidence is continuing to grow in him because we know he's a good football player, and I know he wants to be out there on the field and contributing to this team.
Make a decision to let Jalen address the team after the loss on Monday night. Is that something you thought about in the offseason as like a?
No, I think those things happen organically, and as Jalen, what happens in those scenarios is, Jalen, while everyone's walking in the locker room, he got emotional himself and started to talk to everybody. And when he started to talk to everybody, it's like, man, this is exactly what you want to happen from the leaders on your football team. And really, at the end of it, there wasn't anything for me to say because he said everything I would say, and he said it with great emotion and great care, and and so we like I said, I just said, hey, let's take a knee. And that's something that I talk to these guys every single day, right? We have team meetings every day. We have, I break down practice. Sometimes I just say, hey, that's after a practice too. Sometimes I say nothing and I say, you guys got it, or sometimes I say something. And so when the leaders on your football team are, and are preaching exactly the same things that you know and are your core values and are important to the football team, like that's like that hits that even hits that's awesome. That's the best thing that can happen. That's the best message that you have. Sometimes you do that in team meetings, like, you know, if I feel like something that I'm saying is I've said it a million times and I want them to hear it from another person's perspective, that's where you use video clips of, I don't know, I'll say Roger Clemens saying something. I don't know why, the first person that's popped in my mind. Roger Clemens talking about the same thing. Or, you know, we talk about connect. We've shown that Phillies video from the 93 Phillies team of those guys connecting and talk. So that's just teaching, right? It's not always me talking. You find different avenues to do it. And Jalen had an opportunity to do it, and he was awesome. Like, it just showed how good of a leader he is, and I just really appreciated what he said, and the team appreciated what he said, and it started the process of, hey, getting over that loss and going on to the next one.
Vic said yesterday that Zach Bond had never seen chop blocks before. Isn't that something that should have been addressed in practice or camp? Or
yeah, you do that. You do that in camp. You do that in practice. Now, I always talk about O-line, D-line, or full go, right? Even though you're not tackling to the ground, O-line, D-line, or full go, but we don't let them cut in practice for obvious reasons. Same thing with a tight end slicing back onto a defensive end. You wouldn't want that collision in practice, but you drill it and you try your best to make sure, just like you do with tackling drills. You know, even though you're not going to the ground, you're drilling it and trying to, practice that. And so Bobby King has practiced that. Our defensive line that happens to them too. That they continually to practice that. So you just got to find ways to drill it. Now, if it happens in a preseason game, when Zach had some preseason reps, then that'd be, another thing too. But, he's drilled that. And Zach's played defensive end as well. It's different. It's a different block when a tight end's coming back to slice across, or an offensive line on quick game is coming out to cut you. But yeah, we've drilled that, and we definitely, even sometimes you drill things even more if you don't have a good game doing it. And he knows he got cut a couple times, so they obviously emphasized it even more the last couple days of practice.
Maybe that's a challenging place to play down there with the new center and right guard. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, you just try to simulate it as much as you can. Just, again, same thing as like the cut blocks. You try to simulate it. The tackling, you try to simulate it. So it'll be loud out there in practice. Today it's been loud. Our ears are ringing with, from the crowd noise yesterday. And sometimes you try to even put it up a little bit loud. Like we have it up as loud as the speakers go, but to make it louder, sometimes you actually use, instead of music, you use the crowd noise, which can become annoying, but that's what we've done. And so communicating and being on the same page in the noise is one of our keys to win this game. And that's really any time you're on the road, but especially in New Orleans. And so those are our key. That's just, again, like a rain game. You put water on the ball. You have periods with water on the ball. You do all those different things. It's the same thing in one of these environments. And we've let the noise be even louder. Like, in a game, it kind of goes like this, right? The noise is loud during the play, then it comes down a little bit, and then back loud. We've tried to keep it loud the whole time, so they're constantly having to communicate within that noise.
We saw you in the locker room the other day, which is typical for you. I guess, what's your approach or philosophy with that?
I'm sorry, Zach.
We saw you in the locker room.
I was actually going around to ask a couple guys a question. My approach is usually that's their space. I don't go down there. There's a barbershop in there, though. I'll get a haircut in there. But that, and every once in a while, I might go play a game of ping pong with somebody. But that's their space to be together as a football team. The only time I go in there is if I know they're in there at a certain time, and I gotta ask somebody a question or talk to somebody about something. That's the only reason I was in there the other day.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Oh. Well, nobody asked him about the Heat.
Nobody really asked him anything.
Nobody asked him anything. That was very benign, that presser. Yeah. I'll give him credit in that he tries to be really nice. He tries to be respectful to the question.
I think, whether you like him as a head coach or not, he seems like he's probably a good dude. Right? He's probably a nice guy in real life.
Yeah.
That's how he comes across anyway.
All right. But
So much good.
What did we get out of that?
Well, we got that C.J. Gardner-Johnson, questionable. A.J. Brown, questionable. He loves Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's emotion. That I didn't love. That answer I didn't love. And he said, well, I'm not going to tell him to dial down his emotion because I'm very emotional. Well, sometimes you have to, Nick.
Yeah, Nick, you don't take off a helmet where you get penalized.
Yeah. And then the question about the postgame. You and I talked a little bit about that. Yeah. Sirianni didn't find the need to address the team because he thought Hurts did a good job of it. I'm okay with that.
I guess.
There's the adversity question, which he said you face it in the preseason, which is a wild runaround of an answer to that.
Yeah. We should actually spend some time on that when we get back, Mike, this whole adversity thing. Because the way the next 2 weeks go may dictate Nick Sirianni's future as the head coach.
Are you suggesting that he could be in trouble? And are you saying that's unfair?
I need a cup of coffee before we have this conversation.
Uh-oh. Oh, well, stay tuned. Bill's got a dissertation here. What are you feeling?
We'll get into it coming up.
Uh-oh. Ray, you can cut the suspense with a chainsaw in here.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
All right, we have to take a break now?
We do. We're actually late for one, yeah.
All right, let's take a break. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Missanelli Show. It's a Football Friday, but we have some other issues also to touch on, including the Sixers, which we haven't talked about yet, and the arena situation. And a lot of people are freaking out because the mayor has endorsed the arena and the team staying in Philadelphia. It literally means nothing that she's done that. I don't understand. Like, people are saying, "Oh my God, since the mayor, they're going to build it now." No, they're not. It has to go through more levels of approval, including city council, and the one main councilman who's got that district has to face the music with the opposition. It's so far away from being built.
It is, but I mean, it certainly helps that the mayor.
I don't know how it helps. I really don't. Somebody needs to explain in city government how the mayor who gets a photo op helps that arena being built. She has no standing in it.
Well, let me ask you. If she would have came out and said, "I'm against this arena being built," that would have hurt the chances of it happening.
She couldn't say that because then tax dollars are going to go to Jersey. So all she's doing is protecting Philadelphia's pipeline to get tax money.
I think it helps push it along. But it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
I don't know. I literally can't think of one way that it helps push it along.
Well, politically, if she's the mayor, then the councilmen are probably going to be swayed a little bit more that the mayor's supporting it.
You think so? Why?
Probably not the councilman that's in that district.
There's 4 of them against it already, and the main guy doesn't know. He hasn't said anything yet.
But isn't this going to generate, like, billions of dollars to the city of Philadelphia in certain ways?
I'm telling you, the opposition to this is too strong for this to happen. And it doesn't matter what the mayor says. Now, I want it, and I am stunned by the people, and I want to talk about this a little later in the show. You gotta tell me why it's so wonderful to have another arena down in South Philly with the arenas and the parking lots. What is so special about that you want that?
There's the people who want it. There's only one reason why. It's nostalgia. Because it's always been that way. That's it.
It's a nightmare to drive into those stadiums. Well, where is that a lark? It's terrible to get into those parking lots. What's fun about that experience?
I'm with you on this one, but I think the people who say, "Oh, it's so wonderful," it's just because it's always been that way, and that's how they want it to stay.
Well, this is why I want to put people in the griddle. I want you to think about this. What is so special? People think it's like, oh, it's so convenient. No, it's not. It's not convenient to go into those stadiums. Where is that convenient?
No,
well, we're worried about the traffic. You're worried about the traffic? You're not worried about the traffic getting into those places?
And some of the arguments I've seen, which are valid questions, is when you go to a Phillies game, how does the link being across the street benefit you in any way?
It doesn't.
Right? When you go to a Sixers game, does it matter that the bank is across the street?
No, but go into those people, you might think it's like it's an automatic walkway, like the airport. Oh, so easy to get. It's not easy to get into those places. Well, it's not easy to get into the other one, Mike. Yes, it will be. It will be easy. Once you get past this suburban mentality that you can't, God forbid, take a train or a subway where it drops you off literally in your seat in the arena. Right? That's not convenient, though.
I went down there Monday night to host a pregame show for the Fanatic, and I had to park. Do you know to park down there is $45?
Well, there's the other thing. So you'll spend $10 on the train and the subway.
$45 to park.
You'll save $35, but it's terribly inconvenient. It doesn't make any sense to me. Plus, you're going to get something special and different. Don't you want that? What do you want the same old crap for? There's nothing attractive about those stadiums down there.
No, I think it'd be awesome. And look, I don't know. I can't speak to the people who are against it, who live in Chinatown or have businesses in Chinatown. I can't speak to what their concerns are because I'm not going to experience that. But from a fan's perspective, I think it would be awesome to be able to go to a game in Center City.
You can always make concessions to make people happy. And add that where the people in Chinatown aren't so aggrieved. I don't know how that's done. The architects can figure that out. But I'm just saying.
Funnel some money back there.
All right, Bill, quickly now, as we have a break. We go into the 12 o'clock hour. We got the news at noon. We got our picks coming up. We got Tim McManus coming up.
Sirianni.
The Sirianni thing, you needed a cup of coffee. You went down, there was no coffee.
No
So
coffee.
You don't have the coffee, but do you still have your mindset here?
I do.
On the Sirianni thing.
So I've been accused of being a Sirianni apologist because my position all along has been he deserved to come back, and I still believe that he deserved to come back. But we have never seen Nick Sirianni show an ability to overcome adversity. His first season as a coach, they came out to a rough start, but no one had any expectations. So, yeah, they bounce back. They go to the playoffs. That was the fertilized speech, but no expectation. So it's hard to have a lot of adversity when no one's expecting anything. 2022, they had pretty much a cakewalk throughout the season. Yeah, you had a little adversity when Hurts got hurt, but not a big deal. He comes back, you get a 1 seed, easy path to the Super Bowl. The only time we've seen the Eagles face adversity was last year when the 49ers punched them in the mouth, and they were never able to recover from it. So now it looks like adversity has hit early. It's week 2, adversity has hit. If Sirianni does not show an ability to overcome adversity with this team, then I will come around and say he does not deserve to be the head coach.
Very good point, and I think he is going to overcome it because I think the Eagles are going to win. All right, first thing we got to do at the noon hour is the Fanatics Kelly Green Cash giveaway. So be poised to listen to the keyword when we come in at noon, and you'll have 15 minutes to possibly try to win $1,000. We'll explain it. It's coming up after this. Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. It's 0% financing for 72 months. Get a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service